Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtatara Sri Srimad Tirandi Goswami joined A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Jaya Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we're reading from the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila. This chapter, number 23, is entitled Life's Ultimate Goal. So this is a chapter which is very nice. I would just quickly read the introduction to this chapter, the summary, the translation going on for the Ukrainian devotees. It's okay? So I would just like to read the summary. The following summary of the 23rd chapter is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Vasya. In this chapter, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes the symptoms of emotion and love and the awakening of one's original loving relationship with the Lord, as well as the characteristics of a devotee who has actually attained that stage. He then describes the gradual increase of love of God up to the point of Mahabhava. He then describes the 5 divisions of attraction and how they continue. He also describes the mellow derived from conjugal love, which is the supreme emotion. Conjugal love is divided into 2 categories, Svakya and Parakya. Svakya refers to loving affairs between husband and wife, and Parakya refers to loving affairs between 2 lovers. There are a number of descriptions in this connection. There is also a description of the 64 transcendental qualities of Krishna and the 25 transcendental qualities of Srimati Radharani. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then describes those candidates who are eligible to taste the mellows of devotional service. Their fundamental natures and their varieties are also described. The Lord also informs Sanatana Goswami about all the confidential paraphernalia of devotional service. He gives a description of Goloka Vrindavan, where the Lord is engaged in his eternal pastimes, describes in the Harivamsa. There is also an opposing description and a favorable description of Kesha avatar. All these instructions are mentioned herein. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed Sanatana Goswami, placing his hand on his head. Thus Sanatana received the power to describe these subjects in books like Hari Bhakti Vilas. So today's verse is verse number 78, and we will read on to the verses 79, 81 and the following. These verses describe the qualities of the Lord. So, Atha Panchaguna Syur Angshena Girishadishu Atha Panchaguna Yesyur Angshena Girishadishu Atha Panchaguna Yesyur Angshena Girishadishu Atha Panchaguna Yeshu Angshena Girishadishu
Atha Panchaguna Yesyur Angshena Girishadishu
Angshena Girishadishu.
Atha Panchaguna Yesyur Angshena Girishadishu
Atha Panchaguna Yesu
Atha Panchaguna Yeshu
Angshena Girishadishu
Angshena Girishadishu. Okay, so this verse 78, translation. Apart from these 50 qualities, there are 5 other qualities found in the Supreme Personality of Godhead that are partially present in demigods like Shiva. Yesterday we had Shivaratri. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Jai. So we are reading from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, 23rd chapter, Madhya Lila, which is called Life's Ultimate Goal. And these are specific descriptions given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami when they met in Varanasi. Previously, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had already met Rupa Goswami in Prayag, and he instructed Rupa Goswami on the science of devotional service and told him that he should describe the path of devotional service, which Rupa Goswami did. And on his way back from Vrindavan also he stopped in Varanasi, and there he met Sanatana Goswami, and there he instructed Sanatana, his 2 most prominent disciples. So I would like to read now the descriptions of the qualities of Krishna as described by Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami. I will read also the Bengali because it's such a beautiful verses. I will start earlier than this today's verse, because we have read this verse today. We will read it also describes further qualities of Krishna than the 50 qualities which are described as follows. Ananta Krishna Ragun Chaushati Pradhan Eka Eka Guna Shuni Judaye Bhaktagan. The transcendental qualities of Lord Krishna are unlimited. Out of these 64 are considered prominent. The ears of the devotees are satisfied simply by hearing all these qualities one after another. And this is a verse from the Srimad Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, ayam neta suramyanga sarvasal lokshanavitaha ruchiras tejasa yukto balyan vayasanvitaha. Krishna, the supreme hero, has the most beautiful transcendental body. This body possesses all good features. It is radiant and very pleasing to the eyes. His body is powerful, strong and youthful. Purport: this verse and the following 6 verses are also found in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Vividhat bhuta bhashavit satyavakya priyam vada vavadukha supandityo buddhiman pratibhanvitaha. Krishna is the linguist of all wonderful languages. Pankajangri Prabhu told me once that you can talk to Krishna in your own Schweizerdeutsch. It's a fact, you know. Or in whatever language you have, Italian, French, Ukrainian. You can speak to Krishna in Ukrainian, there's no problem. Because it's written here that Lord Krishna is... Huh? Yeah. Sorry?
On the other, yeah, forward.
Oh, yeah. No, I think I've lost some pages here.
You have to move forward.
Yeah, forward.
Forward, huh? 69, I think we're reading, yeah? Today's verse. Yeah. So Krishna is the linguist of all wonderful languages. Plus that, Krishna speaks the language of the birds, and the language of the bears, and the language of the deer, and the crocodiles, and the elephants. No problem. Krishna speaks to everyone. That's Bahudaka. Yeah? He is a truthful and very pleasant speaker. He is expert in speaking, and he is a very wise, learned scholar and genius. Krishna is very expert in artistic enjoyment. He is highly cunning, expert, grateful, and firmly determined in his vows. He knows how to deal according to time, person, and country, and he sees through the scriptures and authoritative books. He is very clean and self-controlled. Lord Krishna is steady, his senses are controlled, and he is forgiving, grave, and calm. He is also equal to all. Moreover, he is magnanimous, religious, chivalrous, and kind. He is always respectful to respectable people. Krishna is very simple and liberal. He is humble and bashful, and he is the protector of the surrendered souls. He is very happy, and he is always the well-wisher of his devotees. He is all auspicious, and he is submissive to love. Krishna is very influential and famous, and he is the object of attachment for everyone. He is the shelter of the good and the virtuous. He is attractive to the minds of women, and he is worshipped by everyone. He is very, very rich. Is it okay? The translation is going on?
She must be in that room.
Oh, she moved. Is it all right?
No, she in another room.
Yeah, but is it going on? The devotees who are listening, is it okay? Хорошо? Because I'm reading the verses so quick, you know. Now we are in verse 75. I think it's okay. Yeah. So now verse 76. Krishna is the supreme, and he is always glorified as the supreme Lord and controller. Thus all the previously mentioned transcendental qualities are in him. The 50 qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead mentioned above are as deep as an ocean. In other words, they are difficult to fully comprehend. Okay? And verse 77, these qualities are sometimes very minutely exhibited in living beings, but they are fully manifested in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. There are some people who speak many languages, right? There are professors at the university who speak 7, 8 languages. I knew one professor in Prague who spoke 15 languages, 15, you know. He was really good. But Krishna speaks all the languages. So therefore, we respect Krishna for that purpose, you know, that he's a genius. in all circumstances. So here it's written that these qualities are sometimes very minutely exhibited in living beings, but they are fully manifested in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the purport, Prabhupada writes, this verse is found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Living entities are parts and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As Lord Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter, verse 7, Mamevangsha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashastrandriyandrani prakritistani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. The qualities of Krishna are present in the living entity in minute atomic quantities. A small portion of gold is certainly gold, but it cannot be equal to a gold mine. Similarly, the living entities have all the characteristics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in minute quantity, but the living entity is never equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. God is therefore described as the Supreme Being, and the living entity is described as a jiva. God is described as the Supreme Being, the chief of all living beings, because He is supplying the necessities of all others. Eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. The Mayavadis maintain that everyone is God. But even if this philosophy is accepted, no one can maintain that everyone is equal to the Supreme Godhead in every respect. Only unintelligent men maintain that everyone is equal to God, or that everyone is God. Today's verse. Apart from these 50 qualities, there are 5 other qualities found in the Supreme Personality of Godhead that are partially present in demigods like Lord Shiva. This verse is also followed, and the following verses are also found in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So it's interesting that these verses are Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which was compiled by Rupa Goswami, whereas these are instructions given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. But I guess that he already gave the same instructions to Rupa Goswami. Or another alternative is that Sanatana Goswami told Rupa Goswami, and that they met sometimes in Vrindavan, and Sanatana Goswami said, you know what? I heard from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when I was in Varanasi, and then he recites these verses, and Rupa Goswami said, oh, I write them down. Yeah? So that's possible. Anyhow, let's read these qualities of Krishna, these 5 qualities, and also many more. As we've mentioned, Krishna has at least 64 qualities in full. So these qualities, the 5 supplementary qualities to the 50 which we have just read before, that means now we will read 55 qualities. These qualities are, number 1, the Lord is always situated in His original position. Number 2, He is omniscient. Yeah? He knows everything. He is fully aware of everything that's going on, everywhere, at any time. That's omniscient. You know, there's the internet is also omniscient. Yes, but Krishna is omniscient. He knows also what's in the internet. You know, that's Krishna's power. You know, and not only that, He knows all the what's past, present, and future. The internet cannot predict the future. The internet describes what's going on right now, maybe, or what went on before, but nothing of the future. You know, therefore, we are fearful when we become attached to the internet. The internet has one feature which is negatively influencing everyone, and that it creates fear in people. Any news, basically. But the internet is very filled with so much negative news. Therefore, we should be very careful not to follow too much of the internet. And if, then we should take advantage of the fact that on the internet we find so much nectar. Like, for example, yesterday I found on the internet, on Dandavats, a really nice platform, there was a presentation by Navina Nirada and Vijay Prabhu and Jayapataka Maharaj about book distribution. And it was total nectar. Yeah. So there's a lot of nectar there also. But Krishna knows everything, past, present and future. Once Rameshwar Maharaj asked Prabhupada some question which was written to him by Satsvarup Maharaj. And he said, if Krishna knows that we will fall in the future, why does he give us the freedom that we will fall down? You know? And Srila Prabhupada explained very clearly that even though Krishna knows everything that will happen to us in the future, we have minute independence. We have minute independence, so we can actually act in a way. Krishna doesn't interfere. Krishna does not interfere with our minute independence. There's nothing, there are many materialistic people, unbelievers, atheists, their argument against God is that why does Krishna or God allow all these things to happen? Yeah, all the wars and catastrophes which we are living through the whole life, you know. There's so many catastrophes, wars, pestilence, earthquakes, floods, droughts, you name it, hunger. Why does Krishna allow all these miseries? Huh? The answer is simple, that Krishna allows all the living entities their minute independence, and they have to take the responsibility for that. Krishna is not a despot, you know. He's not a dictator. He knows what will happen in the future if we act like this. But he does not intervene. That's his mercy, you know. Sometimes people think, oh, why is it that, for example, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in one of his articles writes that there was one, what was his name? Sri Babu. And this Babu, he had a daughter, and she became sick, very ill with a disease which was actually very dangerous, and she could have died. So this Babu went to the temple, and he always gave big donations for worshipping Gauranga, and he always sang Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. Please save my daughter from death. And he went every day to give donations and chant Gauranga, Gauranga, so that his daughter doesn't die. Finally she died. And the man said, what is this Gauranga? He didn't help me. Why is it? How is it possible? You know, why should I worship Gauranga? Yeah. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains there that this Babu doesn't understand the situation. He doesn't understand that God is not, or as Prabhupada said, father's servant. You know, that he is not responsible for these things. You know, people are thinking like this. Mainly here in this country, there is a big monastery, Einsilden, and there is Mother Mary there, and a Murti. Very nice, actually. It's also decorated with outfits. They take care nicely in mode of goodness. Not so like in Spain, it's horrible. I've seen some Murtis in Spain which look like ghosts. You know, it's horrible. You know. Or the worship of relics, that's the worst, you know, the skulls and bones. You know. Anyhow, they go there to Einsilden and they pray, or Lourdes, or in Fatima, yeah? They pray, oh God, please help me, help my family, help my daughter, help my father, help, etc., etc. You know? And then miracles happen. They think, oh, God has helped. And they put these plaques everywhere. God, thank you, you have cured my whoever. God, thank you, you have saved my situation. Yeah? So people go to God in generally to get some relief for their suffering. And they think, God is, as long as He relieves my suffering, I believe in Him. And as soon as He doesn't relieve my suffering, what's the use of God? Prabhupada also stated that during the Second World War, the German mothers and sisters, they used to go to pray to God, and if the father or the brother or the husband didn't return from the war, then they gave up their faith in God. What's the use of God if He doesn't save me? So this is the attitude. Yeah? But in the Vaishnava tradition of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we are following, yeah, there's no question that we would like to have God do things for us. We have to do things for Him. Yeah? That's when Srila Prabhupada, I think Maharaj also remembers, when Srila Prabhupada was very ill, several times during his 10 years with us. Prabhupada didn't spend so many years with us, 10 years, a very short time. He had many problems, physical problems, for various reasons. And we should pray, Prabhupada said, we should pray to Krishna, mainly the last year of his transcendental pastimes here on this planet, 1977. He taught us the prayer, "My dear Lord Krishna, if you so desire, please cure our spiritual master, that he can continue to lead us. We are still a very young movement. So if you so desire, Lord Krishna, please cure our Guru Maharaj." So this is the attitude that the Vaishnavas have. They are not believing in God in a, I would say, shopkeeper's way. I'll give you this business attitude. I give you this prayer, I give you these flowers, I give you this incense, and you please give me Ashirvat, your blessings. Huh? So because Krishna is omniscient. And third quality, He is always fresh and youthful. He is the concentrated form of eternity, knowledge and bliss, Satchitananda. He is the possessor of all mystic perfection. There are another 5 qualities which exist in the Vaikuntha planets in Narayan, the Lord of Lakshmi. These qualities are also present in Krishna, but they are not present in the demigods like Lord Shiva or in other living entities. These are, number 1, the Lord possesses inconceivable supreme power. Number 2, He generates innumerable universes from His body. That's a very nice fact, I was 2 weeks ago, I was doing offices, book door to door with Bhagavad Gita. And I came to an office of a lawyer, Jai Shishini Tagore. And the lawyer was telling me, "Oh, but I have this book already, and I have many other books." I said, "Really? How is it possible?" He said, "I had a friend when I was studying and living in some place, and that friend, he gave me all these books." And I said, "Oh, really? And what was his name?" He said, "I don't know, but he lived in this and that place. And I know this devotee. I knew these devotees because he unfortunately passed." I said, is his name Shyamananda? And he said, "Yeah, Shyamananda, yeah, he gave me all these books, it's far out, And he was a big lawyer. And I was thinking he had a friend which was a devotee and was a very important man. So then he told me, he said, "Okay, so anyhow, I'll take your Bhagavad Gita, I'll give it to someone." So then when we were parting, I was leaving from the office, he said, "Oh, so impressed. You know what impressed me the most? How God lies there and all the universes come out of His pores." A lawyer was telling me, And God lies on the ocean of causes, karana, and from the pores of His body, all the universes emanate. I was looking at the lawyer, he was just a normal, I would say, materialistic person, one could say. But the influence of a devotee on his life was so deep that he immediately recalled this aspect of God, that God lies on the ocean of causes and innumerable universes emanate from him. He saw the image in his mind, I assume. It was very interesting. So that's another quality of God, that all the universes emanate from the pores of His body. The materialistic people, the scientists, they have absolutely no idea about these things. For them, it's it's also, they don't know. Prabhupada once many times, not only once, always chastised people that if you don't know that you cannot teach. It's a fact, you know. The scientists at school, you go to school, elementary school, secondary school, university, and they're always pumping your head with the universe started with a Big Bang. But they don't know. They cannot prove it. They have, for example, in Geneva, they have the CERN, yeah? And they have this accelerator of the particles, trying to find that things started with the Big Bang, you know. And but they don't know the cause of the Big Bang, you know. Why did the Big Bang actually happen? So they spend billions and billions of Swiss francs and euros in Geneva to build this accelerator, LEM, yeah. And in that accelerator, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, they were trying to prove the cause of the Big Bang. And they accelerated the particles, and then they bumped into each other and made an explosion, yeah, Big Bang. And they found the cause of this explosion, and they named the cause of this explosion a boson, yeah. And the funny thing is that boson is not with a Z, but with an S. And it comes from Bose, who was a scientist from India. He was Bose, like you have these Jagadish Chandra Bose and Subhash Chandra Bose. So this was a mathematician who was called Ramanuja Bose. And he, Ramanujan Bose, and he calculated in his theoretical calculation, he was a genius also. The best mathematician, one of the best mathematicians of the 20th century. And he was a Brahmin, and he believed in God. Actually, so they gave the name to this small particle which they call boson as the cause of the explosion. They don't know. They just speculate and spend the hard-earned money from the taxes of the people, you know. Prabhupada was very outspoken as far as the scientists are concerned. He did not at all agree with the scientific spending money. Just like a few weeks ago or a month ago, there was this, who's this name, this man who invented the electric cars, Tesla, what's his name? Elon Musk, yeah. He spent $50 billion on a rocket which flew up 500 meters and exploded. So Prabhupada said, you know, they spend so much money. Can you imagine how many people we could feed with $50 billion? You know, how many things we could do which were useful for the society. Yeah? So Prabhupada was very, very clear on this fact. So just to end this, it's a fact that the fact that God can create universes like this just by, you know, his breathing, and they emanate from his body, from the port. It's a fantastic vision. And this man, this lawyer, he remembered this, and he kept it in his mind, and he was very impressed by this. He liked it very much, the idea. So here it is written that he generates innumerable universes from his body. Yeah? These are facts. Why would Lord Chaitanya, waste the time of a Sanatana Goswami telling him some blah blah, you know? Why would he do that? You think that he had time to just tell him all kind of nonsense, some stories, mythologies? No. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is scientific, and not only he, but all the followers of Lord Chaitanya, they were scientists. Sriranta Saraswati Thakur was a great scientist. And as I said, this Professor Bose, Ramanujan, he was the most intelligent mathematician, you know. The fact of the matter is that he wrote a paper and he sent it to Cambridge, to the University of Cambridge in England. And the professor of mathematics who had the chair of the mathematical department there was so impressed that he invited him to come to Cambridge. So this Ramanujan, he came from India all the way to Cambridge, and he solved equations which no one could solve. They were amazed, and they asked him, how do you do it? They asked him. And he said, Krishna tells me this in my dreams. It's nice, huh? The man said, how is it possible that, God speaks to me in my dreams? The mathematician said. And he solved the unsolvable mathematical riddles. No one could solve them. And he solved them like this. And how? Krishna in the heart told him. Yeah. So he was a Brahmin, he was worshipping his deity, he had a little deity of Saraswati, Ramanujan, and he strictly vegetarian, and he had this big problem in England in those days. That was the 20s of the 20th century. Vegetarianism, people didn't, today it would be easier. You can be vegetarian at the university, not a big problem. But in those days, it was very difficult. So you just see, he wasn't any fool. And Sanatana Goswami wasn't any person talking some kind of rubbish, some kind of mythology, stories. The fact of the matter is that the Lord possesses inconceivable supreme power, and He generates inconceivable. This word inconceivable, Prabhupada several times said that if we do not accept inconceivable, then we do not understand who God is. Inconceivable means you cannot conceive. You cannot conceive of these things. Inconceivable energies. If God doesn't have inconceivable energies, then He doesn't exist. Yeah? There's no God if He doesn't have inconceivable energies. That makes the difference between God and other living entities. That He can produce inconceivable things. So powerful. So He is the source, the original source of all incarnations. Number 4, He bestows salvation upon enemies He kills. That's also very nice. Yeah? That He bestows salvation upon enemies He kills. We know that from the Krishna book, how many demons He killed, and they all achieved salvation. He has the ability to attract exalted persons who are satisfied in themselves. Yeah? Although these qualities are present in Narayan, the dominating deity of the Vaikuntha planets, they are even more wonderfully present in Krishna. And the verses 82-83, I will read still. Apart from these 60 transcendental qualities, Krishna has an additional 4 transcendental qualities which are not manifested even in the personality of Narayana. Number 1, Krishna is like an ocean filled with waves of pastimes that evoke wonder within everyone in the 3 worlds. That's such a nice quality, you know. I mean, look at the pastime of Aghasura. It's a wonderful pastime, you know. There's a demon who appears to be like a huge python snake lying on the road in Vrindavan. And not only that, but Krishna manifests the pastimes that the cowherd boys, they think, oh, it's a cave. I mean, you know, there's a huge snake. Krishna saw it's a snake, you know, no problem, you know. But the cowherd boy, that's his pastime. They were covered by his yoga maya, yeah, which is the energy which he uses in his pastimes constantly, yeah, yoga maya. And these cowherd boys were thinking, oh, look, this is the pathway inside the thing, inside this cave, you know. And what's this breath coming out from this smell, you know? Oh, there's something in the cave, you know. Yeah. Such a wonderful pastime. And then when Krishna, you can imagine, we have the nice picture also, when Krishna, all these cowherd boys and calves, they just, they march inside the mouth of Aghasura, right? And Krishna stands there and says, wait a moment, how is this possible, you know? How could they be so illusioned, you know? And then he marches in himself, right? And he expands himself. We know the story of Aghasura. So this is just one of the unlimited pastimes of Krishna, which are, as is described by Sanatan, Krishna is like an ocean filled with waves of pastimes that evoke wonder within everyone in the three worlds. Yeah, in the three worlds. The demigods, they were also present when this pastime of Aghasura happened, and they were, what's that, And the demons also. So the three worlds are observing Krishna's pastimes. It is not that he has his pastimes on this planet only. Right now, at this very moment, there's Aghasura somewhere, and the cowherd boys are entering into his mouth, and Krishna is wondering, what are they doing? This is Nitya Leela. This is the eternal Leela of the Lord. So therefore it's said that everyone in the three worlds evokes wonder. And the second quality, which is only in Krishna, which is not in Narayan, in his activities of conjugal love, he is always surrounded by his dear devotees who possess unequaled love for him. And 3, he attracts the minds of all three worlds with the melodious vibration of his flute. Number 4, his personal beauty and opulence are beyond compare. No one is equal to him, and no one is greater to him. What is that verse? No one is equal to him, and no one is greater to him. Parasya shaktir vivirhaiva shurate svabhaviki jnana. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, natas shamascha vyadikascha vishyate. That no one is equal to him and no one is higher with him. That's his quality. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, natas shamascha vyadikascha. Parasya shaktir vivirhaya shurate svabhaviki jnanam bala kriyacha. And all his energies act automatically. Parasya shaktir, and he has so many energies. Thus the personality of Godhead astonishes all living entities, both moving and non-moving, within the three worlds. He is so beautiful that he is called Krishna. That's a nice. Yeah? Krishna means that he is so beautiful. So purport, Prabhupada gets into the Mayavadi. Mayavadi philosophers who have a poor fund of knowledge simply dismiss the subject by explaining that Krishna means black. And there's more to it. Not understanding the qualities of Krishna, these atheistic rascals do not accept him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although the Lord is described and accepted by great personalities, acharyas and sages, the Mayavadis still do not appreciate him. Unfortunately, at the present moment, human society is so degraded that people cannot even provide themselves with life's daily necessities. Except here in Bergstrasse. Here, I've noticed this part of Zurich specifically. Zurich in general, but this part of Zurich, it's like the heavenly planets, The people have so much beautiful cars, beautiful villas, I guess they have piles of money in the bank account, amazing. So there are some people who are fortunate, but in general you go to, what is it called, this Langstrasse in Zurich? Yeah. So there they don't have enough to feed themselves, They live miserable lives, dirty places, obnoxious smells, So most of the people are not, it's not easy to live, No? So anyhow, Prabhupada writes, unfortunately at the present moment human society is so degraded that people cannot even provide themselves with life's daily necessities. Yet they are captivated by Mayavadi philosophers and are being misled. According to the Bhagavad Gita, simply by understanding Krishna, one can get free from the cycle of birth and death. Tyaktva punar janma naiti mameti sojuna. Unfortunately, this great science of Krishna consciousness has been impeded by Mayavadi philosophers who are opposed to the personality of Krishna. Those who are preaching this Krishna consciousness movement, this is a nice instruction that we have all of us. Those who are preaching this Krishna consciousness movement must try to understand Krishna from the statements given in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. We should be aware. And I will read the last verse for today, last 2 verses. Above Narayan, Krishna has 4 specific transcendental qualities. Oh, that we have just read. Yeah. Yeah. So these verses are, above Narayan, Krishna has 4 specific transcendental qualities. His wonderful pastimes and abundance of wonderful associates who are very dear to him, like the gopis. His wonderful beauty and the wonderful vibration of his flute. Lord Krishna is more exalted than ordinary living beings and demigods like Lord Shiva. He is even more exalted than his personal expansion Narayan. We know that from Krishna book, that Krishna disappeared from the gopis and they were searching. I think, if I remember well, he disappeared with Radharani, is it something like that? Yeah? And the gopis were searching for him. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And they met Narayan. Yeah? And when they met Narayan, they offered their obeisances and they said, do you know where is Krishna? Huh? It's not that they were attracted to Narayan at all. Yeah? So it's written here that he's even more exalted than his personal expansion Narayan. In all, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has 64 transcendental qualities in full. That's the conclusion of this description by Sanatana Goswami of Krishna. And then he goes on to describe just a taste of it. He describes, similarly, Srimati Radharani has unlimited transcendental qualities, of which 25 are principal. Sri Krishna is controlled by these transcendental qualities of Srimati Radharani. Do you want to hear them?
Sure, yes.
Yeah? You want to hear Radharani's transcendental qualities? They're amazing. You can visualize. When I read this verse about Radharani's qualities, I could visualize them. They're very nice. So, Srimati Radharani's 25 chief transcendental qualities are, number 1, she is very sweet. Number 2, she is always freshly youthful. Number 3, her eyes are restless. Number 4, she smiles brightly. Number 5, she has beautiful, auspicious lines. Number 6, she makes Krishna happy with her bodily aroma. Number 7, she is very expert in singing. Number 8, her speech is charming. You can imagine how charming her speech is, that Krishna is She is very expert in joking and speaking pleasantly. And at the same time, she is very humble and meek. Number 11, she is always full of mercy. Yeah, that's Prabhupada's song which he wrote, prayer to Lord Krishna on the Jaladuta in the middle of the ocean when he was going to America all alone, sick. Krishna tabe punya habe bhai, e punya karibe jabe, Radharani kushi habe. I tell you, my dear friends, bhai means friends, Radharani kushi habe, you have to first gain the mercy of Srimati Radharani if you want to have Krishna. So she's so full of mercy. These Vaishnavas, Gaudiya Vaishnavas in our tradition, they are all devotees of Srimati Radharani. Therefore, when you go to Vrindavan, what do you hear? Do you say Hare Krishna? Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai Radhe 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 Radhe. Because she is so merciful. The Vaishnavas, Gaudiya Vaishnavas particularly, are so attached. Number 12, she is cunning. What is the meaning of the word cunning? Does anyone know?
She knows how to get her ways.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes, you wanted to say? It's okay? You agree? You agree what she said?
It's like a little bit like cheating.
Yeah, a little bit. She knows how to get her ways, as you said. Yeah, she's a little bit like cunning, you know. Sankirtan devotees are also cunning. You get into trouble sometimes because of your cunningness on Sankirtan. Yeah, it happened to me. I came to one office and I said, "Oh, we're giving these books to people here, so give it to me." I said, well, of course we are giving it, but we ask a little small donation for the book, you know. Well, you're a cunning man, you know, get out of here. You either you give it to me or get out of here. So you can get in trouble when you're cunning. But Radharani never gets in trouble. So another quality is, she is expert in executing her duties. Number 14, she is shy. Number 15, she is always respectful. Number 16, she is always calm. Number 17, she is always grave. Number 18, she is expert in enjoying life. That's a really nice quality. Yeah. And number 19, she is situated at the topmost level of ecstatic love. Number 20, she is the reservoir of loving affairs in Gokula. Number 21, she is the most famous of submissive devotees. Number 22, she is very affectionate to elderly people. That's a very nice quality, you know. Young people are sometimes so arrogant, you know. I've noticed, I'm a little older now, and when I'm confronted with some young people, even in the Hare Krishna movement, I'm surprised. I couldn't be so arrogant, you know. But she's very respectful to elderly people. This is also a quality that we should learn from Srimati Radharani. Yeah? And she is very submissive to the love of her friends. Number 24, she is the chief gopi. Number 25, she always keeps Krishna under her control. In short, she possesses unlimited transcendental qualities, just as Lord Krishna. And this verse is a verse from Ujjvala Nilamani, Sri Radha Prakarana. Yeah? And I just read the next verse because this is such nectar, isn't it? And that is important, this verse, just to close this lecture. Nayaka Nayika Dui Rosher Alamban Shaidu Shrishta Radha Brajendra Nandan. That's a beautiful verse also. The basis of all transcendental mellows is the hero and the heroine. And Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, are the best. Yeah? Because if you look at all the Hollywood films, it's just the hero and the heroine. Not only in books, the hero, heroine. There was, I would think, one man was called John Campbell. He was a screenwriter and a psychologist, and he inspired so many films in Hollywood and books also. And he concentrated on this Nayaka Naiki. Nayaka Naika, which means hero and heroine. Yeah? This is the basis of all the mellows that people read in newspapers, in dramas, in television series, the hero and the heroine. The mother of my wife, she was from Serbia, and we would come home and she was sitting in front of the television and crying. Because she was watching some film about the hero and the heroine. Yeah, people are very sensitive to these things, and materialistic people, but we are sensitive to the same, but we know that Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna, the son of Maharananda, are the best. Yeah? And the thing is that this transcendental pastime between the hero and the heroine, they are eternal, they are transcendental, they are never ending, and those who are very advanced in Krishna consciousness, which means not us, okay, we should be very clear about this, that we are not on the level, they are constantly relishing. That's why we sing in the morning. What do we sing? The one before. Shiradika Madhavayurapara Madhurya Lila Gunarupanam Nam Pratikshanasva Dhanalupasya. Because the spiritual master, he relishes Madhurya Lila Gunarupanam Nam. Yeah? So therefore we worship the spiritual master. We don't worship an ordinary person. We worship the spiritual master because he's on this level. He actually fully realizes and fully relishes the form, guna, rupa, the nature of the pastimes of Krishna. And he also assesses the gopis. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your attention. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jai. Any questions or any comments that anyone would like to add? Go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
You were speaking about how Krishna knows the past, present, future.
And future, yeah.
And then
Omniscient.
I was thinking of one pastime with Rukmini. We were also speaking about it a few weeks back. How when he teased Rukmini, he was saying, "Why did you marry me?" And he had a certain expectation.
Yes, he was. There was a pastime where they were sort of like, having a family row. Yeah. So.
And it's described in the purport that he had a certain expectation how she would react, but she reacted differently. He expected she would become upset, angry, but she became fearful and fainted. And he was amazed by that. And also, when you spoke, you were telling the pastime of Akasura, and you were saying how Krishna was standing there amazed. How is it possible? So it seems in the spiritual world the Ladini Shakti, the internal potency, is he doesn't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you just answered your question.
So can you explain a little bit how?
I cannot explain. I'm not qualified. But you answered your questions. You spoke about the Ladini Shakti.
I have a specific question in this regard, how connected to, he knows in the material world what happens in the past, present and future, but then in the spiritual world he apparently doesn't know. But then there must be like something in between, because if everything would just be automatic in this world, but the living entity has the free will. So does he really know everything what happens in the future in this world?
He's right, yeah. Otherwise he won't be omniscient. The word omniscient means that he knows everything. And he knows even the fact that he will be astonished that he knows everything, That's his pastimes. And mainly, as you rightly said, this Ladini Shakti, this pleasure potency of Krishna is manifested in Srimati Radharani and also in all these transcendental relationship with his queens. That's also on the level of Ladini Shakti. This is his pleasure potency. He has pleasure of it. There's people, I think that even in the material world we find something similar. Yeah? Isn't it?
Movies.
Movies, yeah. But you have also, it's funny, when, this is a completely mundane example, nothing to compare with transcendental affairs. When they landed this stupid little box on the moon, cost another billions and billions of dollars. You had the control room in Houston, and all of the people said, "Oh, Haribol, Haribol!" They were astonished, and they were extremely happy for nothing. They could not even check if this is going on, And it's a fact that sometimes people are proud of themselves. Oh, I'm so good, Computer programmers, they program, and then they say, that was good, They appreciate their own work, Not always, but these sentiments are also in us in a minute quantity, Yeah, that we are amazed about ourselves sometimes, proud of ourselves in a sense. So this is a minute quantity in us. We have the same. Yeah, when they create something wonderful, something amazing, that they're very proud of themselves, and they think, how did I do it? So this is in us. We have this little quantity also. Yeah, mainly manifested in intelligent people who are creative. They manifest, but in Krishna is in full this quality, and it's manifested at various levels, transcendental levels. I guess I didn't answer your question. It's unanswerable. Yeah, just understand the word inconceivable, and if you accept that Krishna is inconceivable, then these things are, you don't have to question them anymore. Unless you accept that Krishna has unconceivable potencies, there is no God. God means that he has to have unconceivable potencies. Otherwise he cannot be God. Impossible. As soon as you conceive of someone's thing, then he's not God. He's beyond our conception. Inconceivable. Okay? So thank you very much, and Jai Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sanatana Goswami and all the Vaishnava Acharyas. Hare Krishna.
His grace, Jayagurudeva Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Vanchakalpa Tarubhishya. Jai Jai.